There is something ancient about the fear of deep water, not just what might be in it, though that is part of it, but the water itself. The way it hides everything below a certain depth. The way a surface that looks calm and flat and peaceful can conceal something completely different underneath. Lakes, rivers, the ocean at night. These places have their own rules, their own moods, and sometimes their own residents. 3 stories tonight from people who went near the water and encountered something they were never able to explain. 3 people who now think twice before going near any body of water after dark. Some depths are better left undisturbed. My family has a small cabin on a lake in northern Wisconsin. We've had it for 30 years. I've been going there since I was a child. I know that lake, its moods, its currents, the way it looks at different times of day. I know it the way you know a place you love. 2 summers ago, I was at the cabin alone for a long weekend. The first night I went down to the dock after dark to look at the stars. No wind. The water was completely still, like glass, reflecting the sky perfectly. One of those rare, beautiful nights. I was sitting on the dock for maybe 20 minutes when I noticed something in the water about 30 feet out. A shape just below the surface. Dark, oblong, roughly the size of a person. My first thought was a log. Debris drifts into the lake occasionally. It was still, whatever it was, moving very slowly with a slight current toward the dock. I watched it drift closer, 15 feet out, 10, and then the shape moved. Not drifted, moved, deliberately. It turned, smoothly, and began moving parallel to the dock rather than toward it. Then it stopped. I was on my feet. I turned on my phone flashlight and shone it at the water. Whatever it was, it went still the moment the light hit the surface. The water was dark enough that I could see a shape, but no detail. Just a long, dark form hovering just below the surface. I went inside and stayed there until morning. In daylight, the lake was empty and clean and completely normal. I've gone back every summer since. And every summer, on at least one night, I see it again. Always after dark. Always that same slow drift, followed by that deliberate turn when it gets close to the dock. Whatever it is, it knows the dock is there, and it knows when someone is standing on it. I've never told my family. I don't want them to stop going. I just don't go to the dock after dark anymore. And I try not to think about how long it was there before I noticed it. My grandparents lived on the edge of a small town in Kentucky, with a river running about 100 yards behind their property. As kids, my cousins and I spent hours at that river, fishing, wading, throwing rocks. Normal childhood stuff. The river was shallow and slow and felt completely safe. The summer I was 12, something changed. I don't know how else to say it. The river changed, not visibly. The water looked the same, the current was the same. But something about being near it felt different, heavier, like standing in a room where an argument just happened. My youngest cousin, who was 7, refused to go near the river at all that summer. She wouldn't say why. She just sat on the bank and watched while the rest of us played. One afternoon, my grandmother called us in for lunch. We all headed back to the house. I was lost, and as I came up from the bank, I heard something in the water behind me. A sound like something large surfacing. A displacement of water. A brief churning. I turned around. The surface of the river was disturbed in a roughly circular area about 8 feet across, 20 feet from the bank. Ripples expanding outward, like something had just gone under. Nothing else. No animal visible. No boat. No person. Just that disturbed water slowly calming back to stillness. I went inside and didn't say anything. At dinner that night, my youngest cousin, unprompted, said, "I saw it today. The thing in the river." My grandmother put down her fork and told her not to talk about things like that at the table. Her tone was not dismissive. It was warning. I never asked my grandmother what she meant. She passed away a few years later. My cousin, now in her 20s, says she doesn't remember saying it. She says she doesn't remember that summer at the river at all. I've never been back to that property. But I've thought about that circular disturbance in the water probably 1,000 times. And I've thought about what my grandmother knew that she didn't want us talking about at dinner. I'm an experienced scuba diver. Open water certified, advanced certified, over 200 log dives across 12 years. I say this because I want you to understand that I know the difference between a normal dive and what I experienced that night. This was off the coast of Florida, about 3 years ago. A night dive. Not unusual for experienced divers, visibility is often better at night in certain conditions, and the marine life is different. I'd done dozens of night dives. I was comfortable with it. I went in alone, which I know is against best practice. I acknowledge that. The conditions were calm and I knew the site well. About 40 feet down, well within my experience level. The first 20 minutes were normal. Good visibility with my dive light, interesting marine life, comfortable conditions. I was relaxed. Then my light started to dim. Battery issue. I checked the gauge and it was fine, but the output was dropping. I prepared to ascend. Before I started up, I checked my surroundings as I always do. Looked down, looked up, looked in each direction. In the darkness below me, below the range of my dimming light, something was looking back. I can't tell you what it was. I couldn't make it out clearly. But there were 2 points of reflected light in the darkness below me that were spaced like eyes. Not fish eyes. The spacing was too wide. The height from the substrate too high. Whatever it was large. And whatever those reflected points were, they were directed upward. At me, I ascended immediately. Controlled, proper ascent. Training overrides panic when it needs to. I was out of the water in 3 minutes. My dive light, back at the surface, was at full brightness. There was nothing wrong with the battery. I've thought about that a great deal. About the light dimming at exactly the moment something below decided to look up. About the light coming back the moment I was out of the water. I don't night dive alone anymore. I don't night dive at all, if I'm honest. Some things in the dark water are better left below.